Greetings fellow Whovians and welcome to Timey Wimey Review with the reveal of Sutekh making a return in the recent episode The Legend of Ruby Sunday. I thought it'd be great to rewatch the classic 4th Doctor story Pyramids of Mars, which was originally broadcast on BBC One nearly 50 years ago, back in October 1975. Just in case you don't know the plot, the 4th Doctor and Sarah J. Smith do battle against Sutekh, a very powerful god from an unknown part of the galaxy that is going to cause death and destruction to the universe. Pyramids of Mars has great storytelling. I love the link between Sutekh, this powerful alien godlike creature, and sort of linking it in with the Egyptian gods of old, and some great performances here, particularly from Tom Baker. This is a very different 4th Doctor really performance from him. You know, this was, you know, we've had like him being sort of jokey and, you know, dealing, you know, had big powerful villains to deal with but managed to, you know, outwit them. This one was a more intense performance from Tom Baker from the get-go. You know, he really sold on the point of this is a very powerful alien, it's a very powerful creature that not even I could probably, you know, this particular doctor who we're now full of confidence, full of vigor, might not get away with. And you know, you just saw that in the performance, the scene between the 4th Doctor and Sutekh using his power to sort of make the Doctor kneel and bring all sorts of pain to the Doctor in episode 4, in part 4. You know, it's quite scary stuff. But even just the build up to that, you know, Tom Baker's performance is just very alien and something that we're not really used to and not really get so much in his era. But when we got it, my gosh, he was super on point. You know, at some point, you know, parts in this story telling Sarah Jane Smith, you know, don't provoke me. You know, when she's trying to be a bit light-hearted and have a joke with him, you know, he was just not having any of it and being quite sort of alien, is the only way to sort of describe his performance. When he was talking to Lawrence, whose brother Marcus was possessed by Sutekh, and Lawrence was trying to sort of bring him back to the brother that he knows and loves, and the Doctor was like, "Look, don't you get it? He's dead. He's just a walking corpse, doesn't exist, you know, and no sort of human sympathy at all. You know, he was just, yeah, bang on death and taking Sarah to 1980s of, you know, and just seeing that the earth was covered in dust and destruction because Sutekh got his way if they didn't stop him. Very much similar to, I thought, to what recently happened in The Devil's Cord, when the Doctor sent Ruby to 2024 and basically London all turned into dust. So yeah, there's a lot of similarities really going off and lots of clues of Sutekh returning in new Doctor Who as well. So if you haven't seen it, check it out. The you know, the similarities are there. My God, I just realised when I watched this episode back and I was sort of laughing at the that sort of time tunnel thing when Sutekh sort of comes to Earth in 1911. It always reminds me of Smarties tubes. I don't know why. There's something that just reminds me of Smarties. It's like the Smartie time tunnel. But I just realised that colouring, that's what they've been using for season 1. All the clues have been there. My gosh, I've been so thick. Usually I pick up on bits and bobs like that, but nope, totally didn't on that one. Anyway, back to Pyramids of Mars, and like I said, great performance from Tom Baker, and equally great performance from Elizabeth Sladen, as always, with Sarah Jane Smith being, again, sort of trying to sort of calm the Doctor, really be this calming influence to the Doctor, not working, but very much a bit of an action hero as well with the rifle. Yeah, she was spot on, trying to be sort of taking things a bit light-hearted, sort of try to calm the Doctor down, but not getting angry with him. You know, there was that moment where sort of why are you being like this, Doctor, and having those sort of moments. But yeah, it just showed how much of a great partnership duo Tom Baker and Elizabeth Sladen was. They both knew their roles and how to get the best out of their characters in these particular situations. We also have to talk about Gabriel Wolf as the voice of Sutek, and you can see why this villain has come back. It is and that's thanks to Gabriel Wolf, such a rich voice and calculating voice as Sutek, never really raising his voice in anger or anything like that, only just when he lost control. But he was just, everyone was just his puppet and ants to him, and really sold on that voice. And again, yeah, you can see why this villain has returned, because since it was revealed in the recent episode, Legend of Ruby Sunday, I've heard a lot of Whovians on various social media posts sort of like, oh my god, I was scared of this creature 50 years ago, and now he's back. And yeah, it's sort of like reliving those old nightmares as a child. And yeah, that's fantastic to have, and definitely thanks to Gabriel Wolf with that superb voice acting. Props to Michael Sheard as Lawrence, again selling on that my brother hasn't gone. And props to the actor, I do apologize, who played Marcus as well, being that possessed version of Sutek. He was quite menacing and scary, but yeah, more sort of sold with Lawrence, Michael Sheard being Lawrence, of trying to get his brother back, not being a bit of a coward at times, but he was scared. He's human. I would be running a mile. Have my brother, I'm off. But yeah, sort of really sort of selling that, sort of having that courage to take action when needed. It was a really good performance from Michael. It does transport you back to like Saturday afternoons, Saturday tea time. It just felt like an out and out classic Doctor Who, and just really ramping up the scares, really ramping up the storytelling. There was just, you can tell why this was the golden era of Doctor Who, with Tom Baker and Elizabeth Sladen, with this storytelling. It was just so rich, and it feels timeless, and yet a time of being back in the 70s, just after the football, and let's sit down and watch some Doctor Who with the family. I'm going to give Pyramids of Mars a Tardis rating of 8 out of 10. It's just a solid story. Yeah, it might have a few little sort of effects and stuff that are a bit dated, but that's the charm of Doctor Who. It doesn't matter. The storytelling outsells the special effects, and that's what it should do. I know I mentioned in Legend of Ruby Sunday that the look of Sutek with the CGI look just did look a little bit off, in my opinion. I think that's because they were trying to sell this big reveal of Sutek, and I think that a little bit of time should have been made for that particular CGI effect on Legend of Ruby Sunday. But here, the charm and the storytelling outweighs the effects, and that's maybe because I'm sort of looking at it in different, but shoestring budget against the budget that Doctor Who have now. Maybe, I don't know, but I just, there's just high praise for this story. Fantastic storytelling, like I said. Brilliant acting from the guest actors, as well as Tom Baker and Elizabeth Sladen. It is just a fantastic story. Just going to quickly segue here. We had Tales of the Tardis Omnibus edition of Pyramids of Mars airing last night on BBC4, BBC iPlayer on June 20th. I'm in London when this happened. You can see the old Millennium Dome, O2 Arena there behind me, ready for the cinema offerings of The Empire of Death tonight. Cannot wait for that. So anyway, let's talk about the Tales of the Tardis version of Pyramids of Mars, and really nice scenes bookending the beginning and the end of this edition with Ncuti Gatwa and Millie Gibson, the 15th Doctor and Ruby Sunday in the TARDIS, in the memory TARDIS, that is. And yeah, I'm not sure how Ruby kind of got there, unless that was all part of the time window sort of cliffhanger scene, just to book that part in. So if it is, quite clever, I'll take that. And yeah, some nice little changes which I didn't mind too much. One, they were talking about that towards the end, that Sutek is like this giant titan now, so he's not like a sort of a figure stuck in one location. He should be able to move apparently. As we saw with the big giant sort of monster that we had at the Tardis at the end of the Legend of Ruby Sunday. I hope they do have the original Sutek costume for a brief appearance. I think that'll be really, really cool for Empire of Death. We also had some changes to the special effects, so instead of the Smarties tube effect, time tunnel for the time vortex, we had it a little bit more sort of updated, kind of going for the similar colours maybe that they've been using for the past season or so. Again, that's fine, you know, that we always got the original as well as this new edition. And the weird one that I'm not sure whether I like it or it's a bit too cheesy, I'll let you guys, my fellow Whovians, know in the comments, is the bit where the Fourth Doctor is using the radio telescope invention, and we had a little bit of a 80s music from Legopolis, trying to do a bit of foreshadowing there of how the Doctor, the Fourth Doctor, dies, obviously falling from a radio telescope in Legopolis to regenerate into the Fifth Doctor. I kind of like it and I kind of don't. I find it a bit cheesy, but the main thing is, one, it was, you know, is a good selling point of really ramping up this season finale for the Empire Death. And two, it's a sort of different take on Pyramids of Mars, a bit like the Daleks. It's not the definitive one. You can always have the classic as well as the new version. I think in the long run I prefer the classic because I'm just used to that story and how that's presented, but it's a fun piece of television nonetheless. If you've not seen this story already, or you're a bit curious leading into the season finale of Doctor Who The Empire Death, definitely check this out. It's a good stopgap between The Legend of Ruby Sunday and The Empire Death. So please do check out the Pyramids of Mars. It is an out-and-out classic Who story. Definitely up there with amongst the greats. Let me know in the comments below your thoughts to the Pyramids of Mars. Is this your favourite story from the Tom Baker era, or was this the very first time of watching this classic Doctor Who story? What was your initial thoughts and reactions? Thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you've enjoyed this review. If you have, please like, share and subscribe. Hit the cloister bell for more notifications. Come say hello and follow me on Facebook and X, and do check out my other fantastic Doctor Who related content on the Timey Wimey Review TikTok page, and of course right here on the Timey Wimey Review YouTube channel. And as the good doctor once said, never underestimate Sutek.